Hi there, in this video we will learn about linear gradients in CSS, and in the upcoming videos we will learn about the other type of gradients, the radial gradient and the conic gradient. But in this video we will be starting with linear gradient. So if I just go ahead and go to the MDN documentation, as you can see, the linear gradient CSS function creates an image consisting of progressive transition between two or more colors along with a straight line. Okay, so it is along the straight line. Okay, so let's do that. So what we can do, what I'll do basically, I will just get rid of everything currently we have. Let's do it something like 500 pixel, and width is 500 pixel as well. And let's add a border of 2 pixel solid and something like black. Okay, so if I just do that and go to my page, as you can see, here is our box. Okay, and in case you do not remember, just a quick glimpse of the HTML. We have a div with the class of box, and then inside of that we have some lorem ipsum text. Okay, cool. Now if we go to the CSS file, so inside of CSS, what we can do, we can specify the background image. So background image. Okay, and here we can do linear gradient. So I'll just collapse the sidebar. So linear gradient. Okay, and inside of the parenthesis we can pass some of the colors which we want. Let's do blue, violet. Okay, to something like purple. Something like this. Or let's do red. Okay, something like that. Okay, and if I just save, right now here is our cool gradient. Okay, and obviously we can change the colors. We can add multiple colors, not only two, we can add 3 or more colors, and also we can change how much we want red and how much we want blue violet. We can change all of that, and which we will be uh, exploring right now. So here we have the linear gradient. As you can see, there are a bunch of examples. Here there is another one, and this linear gradient has, as you can see, 1 2 3 colors. Okay, and this one has 4 colors basically. Okay, all right. So as you can see, by default the linear gradient is from top to bottom. Okay, so as you can see, the blue violet color is on top, and then on the bottom we have the red color. Now you might want to change that particular behavior. So here what you can do, just before specifying the colors, you can add a certain angle. So I can do 45 degrees. Okay, and then comma, and then we have these two colors. By the way, you can use any sort of colored values. For simplicity, I am using the named colors, but you can use RGB, RGBA, or some hex color, something like that. Okay, so if I just save currently right now and go to the browser right now, as you can see, we have the gradient which is going 45 degrees. Okay, but many of the times you do not have a particular degree in mind, right? You do not have that. So in that case, what you can do, you can add something like this. So as you can see, yes, to left top, something like that. So if I just do that, so instead of 45 degree, so I can do to left top. Okay, so if I just do that and go ahead, right now what is happening, the gradient is starting from the bottom right and it is going to the left top. Okay, we can do something like to left left top. What we can do to bottom right as well, something like that. Okay, so it is going to bottom right. Okay, awesome. So this is the linear gradient. So now let's see how we can use multiple linear gradients. Okay, so to use multiple linear gradients, we most of the time use the RGBA color. Okay, as you can see here it is. So we most of the time use RGBA colors. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this particular one. Okay, so linear gradient, okay, and go to the code editor here. So here we can paste the gradient which we have copied. Okay, so if I just do that and just paste it out here, so here there is this particular syntax which is going on. It is similar to the RGBA colors, right? So as you can see, VS Code is suggesting this syntax RGB 25500/0.8 is equivalent to RGBA 25500/0.8. Basically the 0.8 for the transparency. Okay, and then we have this transparent value, and which is 70.71%. Okay, so if I just save that and go to the browser right now, as you can see, this is the preview as well, but here as you can see we have our own preview. So in this way, what we can do, we can use multiple linear gradients. And in case if you are wondering like what happened if I just use one, so I'll just save that. So as you can see, this is only for the red. Okay, then what we can do, we can just add some green as well, which it is adding. So we will add two linear gradients. So here it is. So we have the green and we have the red, and then we can add the third one as well, which is the blue linear gradient, which is here, and we are getting this awesome gradient effect. All right, so this is basically the linear gradient, and here as you can see you have a bunch of options. Basically the one thing which I want to point out here, I'll just go here. Yes, the customizing the gradients, right? So what I can do here, I can get rid of this. Okay, I can get rid of everything here and do linear gradient, and let's do from red to blue. Okay, save that, and here as you can see we have red and blue, and the amount of red and the amount of blue is equal basically. So here if I just say like 25% blue and then 25%, then what I am saying, I'm not saying hey just use 25% of the blue. No, I am saying from 25% start the blue color. So if I just go here, as you can see, the first basically 25% is red, and then from 25% start the blue color. In that way you can control how much color you want. Now as you can see, we can create some beautiful gradients by hand by using some default colors, but most of the times you want some other beautiful gradients, and to get some more beautiful gradients you can just check in the Google something like CSS gradient generator, gradient background, something like that. So here it is, one of them is cssgradient.com or like .io, and then we have this one as well. Let me just show you. So this is one of them. You can change the gradient and you can change those things. And here what we have a whole bunch of different CSS gradients. Okay, and we have the gradient hunt and so on. So the URL is cssgradient.io. slash gradient backgrounds. So you can use all of these gradients inside of your code as well to get some beautiful gradients. This one is kind of cool. So if I just copy the CSS, okay, and go here, and what I can do, I can just paste that. Okay, I can just paste that. So as you can see, okay, not this one. Okay, so this is not copied properly. Okay, but we can use something like this, like the gradient hunt, and let's see how that looks. So yep, so for example, I want this gradient. Okay, so I can just do something like this. Okay, now it is copied properly. Okay, so background image is being copied as well, so I don't want the background image. And now as you can see, we have this gradient. Okay, so if I just go ahead and see inside of my browser, as you can see, we have this beautiful gradient. Awesome. So this is the linear gradient in CSS.